is a presentation of Fox Sports.
We are the Fourth. We are Florida.
Well, look, Miami is quiet right now. Everybody is certainly girding for the storm. The Marlins and the Nationals are finishing off a three-game series. The Fish are headed to Atlanta after this. And we've got a Wednesday night showdown, don't we? Yes, we do. The Marlins and the Nats seem friendly right now, but it's been all lopsided. It's been all Nationals in this series. Rich Waltz along with Todd Hollinsworth. Miami's skid has gone to 8 of their last 9. And it's just like the Marlins have forgotten how to hit right now.
Yeah, it's a little bit frustrating. Yeah, I completely agree. Outside of the one outburst in the Phillies series where they scored 10 runs and they needed all 10 of those runs to get the win, the offense has been struggling against some great starting pitching of the Nationals. They got another great starter going tonight in Gio. They're going to have to find a way collectively to put together constructive, productive at-bats. I'm not talking about stringing 3 or 4 hits together, but making the outs matter in this ballgame.
And Gio against the Marlins has been absolutely dynamite. Witness the start here where he nearly threw a no-hitter.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, Gio's got one of the best breaking balls in the game. That curveball, you're going to hear me talk about it an awful lot tonight. It's really good, but he's developed his other pitches as well. In fact, his batting average on balls in play, he's a league leader, top 10, 253. What's that tell you? It means that whether it's his curveball, his changeup, or even his four-seam fastball, he has not given up a lot of hard contact this season. He's having a really, really good year. But again, yes, you're trying to grab all that knowledge and make something happen.
All right. That was Big Gio. Maybe this is Junior Gio. In his second Major League start, Dylan Peters was terrific against the Phillies. Now, this is a better lineup here with the Nationals. He also throws a very good curveball.
Oh, man, it was outstanding. That's right, 36 of them, 36 curveballs to the Philadelphia Phillies. And guess what? 9 swing and misses, 8 strikeouts. Great stuff. Well, here's the one thing that matters. The Philadelphia Phillies were willing to expand their strike zone. We'll see if the Nats are willing to do that tonight. But this is a big start for this young man here in his second big league start.
Dylan Peters gets the baseball. Now the Nationals would like to reduce their magic number. It's at 8 right now. They win tonight. It's down to 6. And Miami just wants a win and get on the road to face the Braves and the Phillies. Can the big bats get going? All the big bats are in the lineup, including Giancarlo. And why not? It's Roberto Clemente Day throughout baseball. We will remember and celebrate his legacy and his life when we get back. Clemente Day in baseball. We honor the life and the legacy of one of baseball's greats. And we start out in center field. Craig Minervini and Jeff Conine.
Well, thank you, Rich. Yes, it is an honor to talk about Roberto Clemente Day. Watched him as a kid, that great arm in right field, and of course known to the newer generation just as one of the great humanitarians, but he was everything. And you can imagine in the Major League Baseball renamed the award, which was originally called the Commissioner's Award, began in 1971. They renamed it after Clemente died in his heroic effort to save victims in Nicaragua going down on a plane crash.
Yeah, plane crash. He had just gotten his 3,000th hit, and a Hall of Famer on the baseball field. Some ridiculous numbers, as you said. One of the most electrifying players offensively and defensively, but did so much more for his humanity efforts off the field, and like you said, died en route to Nicaragua to help victims of a devastation down there.
New Year's Eve, 72, got his 3,000th hit as his last hit, and D. Gordon named the Roberto Clemente Award winner from the Marlins, and now a candidate among the 30 Major League Baseball will name one from all of the teams. D does a great job with his Flash of Hope program and striking out poverty as well.
Yeah, Mike Hill presenting him that award, and he's done a tremendous amount of work down in the Dominican Republic trying to get clean drinking water to the folks down there who don't have access to that. $15,000 of his own money, and he's donated $200 for every double he hits. So good stuff from D. Gordon.
Niner, Dylan Peters here. Marlins need a win today.
They have to have a win today. Dylan Peters hopes to duplicate what he did the first time out. 7 innings pitched, 3 hits, fantastic start, but he's going to get a tough one against Gio Gonzalez, who's had the Marlins number in his entire career.
Don't give him 4 runs, as you said in the pregame show.
Do not. Undefeated.
All right, Dylan Peters goes against Gio Gonzalez. Fun matchup of lefties. Fun to watch the Marlins pitcher here, the rookie, get his second start against this very talented lineup. Marlins, though, have some big names as well. They got to get going. They'll try to here in a moment on Fox Sports Florida.
Fox Sports Florida brought to you by the all-new Jeep Compass. By GMC, we are professional grade. By your local Toyota dealers, let's go places. And by Southwest, transparency, low fares, and nothing to hide. Irma will be here this weekend. For now, we've got a GMC Wednesday showdown. Some baseball here in the Magic City tonight. Dylan Peters, 25-year-old rookie, just turned 25, just got to the big leagues, and he gets to face the best offensive team in the National League. Southwest brings you the Nationals order. Trey Turner in the leadoff spot. Wilmer Defoe's had a great year against the Fish. Anthony Rendon has had a good series. Ryan Zimmerman back in the cleanup spot. Howie Kendrick slides to 5. Jason Worth in right field. Michael Taylor in center. Jose Lobaton is the catcher. And Gio Gonzalez is in the 9 spot. And here is Peters trying to follow up a spectacular first start in the big leagues.
Well, no doubt. You see those numbers. They are minor league numbers. Let me give you some more details about that start against the Phillies. 7 solid innings. He only gave up 3 singles. He threw 36 curveballs, 9 swing and misses. Good to see. 38 two-seam fastballs, very effective. 13 ground ball outs. That's the key. Love to see that tonight with this Nats offense.
First pitch zips in a fastball for a strike. Trey Turner in the leadoff spot is 0 for 8 in this series. Wilmer Defoe, Anthony Rendon will follow. 2-1 win by the Nationals last night, 7-2 on Monday night. Turner drops down a bunt and pulls it foul. Miami heads to Atlanta right after the game to open up a 4-game series with the Braves on Thursday night. The Nationals head home. Peters out front, 0-2. Turner knocks one in the right center field. That's a hit. Yelich over to cut it off. Big speed by Turner. Big turn as well. And Yelich did a nice job to get it in and hold him to a single. He may not be at first base long. He can really run. Here's Miami's defense tonight.
It's defense you've seen before, particularly in the outfield. That's right. Ozuna, Yelich, Stanton. That's your Marlins defense. In the outfield, Anderson, Rojas, D. Gordon. Tyler Moore gets to start at first base. JT Realmuto behind home plate. The Peters.
Wilmer Defoe. There is a very small crowd here tonight. The impending hurricane, the Nationals and the Marlins both out of here after the ball game. Peters over to first, which means the audio that we have on the fields, which has won many awards over the last few years, will give you every little squeak of the cleats, zip of the fastball, pop of the glove, call of the umpire. By the way, that was Nick Lentz, the home plate umpire. Please welcome him to the show. Paul Emmel, Quinn Walcott, and Brian Onora working the game tonight. Turner got great wheels. Peters trying to keep him close to the plate. Defoe fouls it. And it's 0-2. This has been a big reason why the Nationals are who they are right now, 84-54. We've talked about it before. When Trey Turner went down, Wilmer Defoe stepped in, and he was outstanding at shortstop. You see the numbers, 38 bags, Gordon 49, Billy Hamilton at 58.
Defoe's hit safely in 22 of 30.
But of course, not just Defoe, but Adam Lind has been outstanding. Michael Taylor's been really good. Howie Kendrick.
Well, they didn't lose anything when Trey Turner went to the disabled list for 51 games.
Defoe trying to shoot it through the right side, swings and misses. Peters has his first strikeout of the night.
That's good to see. Early trend. Big breaking ball. It's back. Top to bottom. Works its way down. The swing and miss that comes right along with it. Good to see.
Anthony Rendon. Boy, Rendon and Daniel Murphy just chewed the Marlins up on Monday night. Rendon drove in 4. 2-run homer, 2-run double, added a single. Murphy homered in that ball game as well and had 3 hits. And then homered again last night. And on the 3rd day, he's resting. Murphy not in the lineup tonight.
There's nothing wrong with that. He's only hitting .340 versus the Marlins this year. He looks tired.
You know, having lived through some of these hurricanes and storms here in South Florida over the last 13 years, the weather and the days before is always interesting. And that look at downtown right now, where it's clear and the sun on the downtown buildings, from our vantage point and from what you're looking at right now, is pretty spectacular.
Yeah, we don't see the sun at this time of day too often off the buildings. Especially during the summer months, you see a lot of cloud cover, nothing quite that strong.
And we hope that all of you, wherever you are here in this great state, are taking all the precautions and all the preparations, and will get yourself in a safe spot for the weekend. Runner goes, pitches ball 4. Not a stolen base, though it sure looked like one. Turner ends up at second on the tag, and the Nationals have runners at first and second.
Not a bad jump from Turner. Does just get in, but doesn't have to worry about it. As we mentioned, ball 4.
Ryan Zimmerman now. Peter's running into a little bit of a first inning jam. He did that in his start against the Phillies, remember. In fact, he walked the first guy he faced in the big leagues. That was Cesar Hernandez.
He was able to get the ball on the ground effectively and start dialing in those ground ball outs. That certainly is one thing that stood out. Of course, 7 shutout innings. Love talking about that. But 13 ground ball outs in your big league debut, that is some nice work. Executing your pitches, that is not changing the game plan. He had been doing that in the minor leagues and brought it right up to his first big league start.
Zimmerman hits it hard into left field. That's a base hit. Ozuna after it. Turner coming home. Up with the ball, Ozuna. Throw comes, is cut, and a runner held up. That's Rendon, caught between third and second. Gordon races, tags him out. A run will score, and it's 1-0 Nationals. Good work by the Marlins defensively. Ozuna's throw hit Anderson right in the chest, and Rendon was an easy out.
Well, let it go as a 7-5-4. The ground ball, that's what he was looking for. Well, unfortunately finds the hole. Marcell Ozuna up with a pretty strong throw. Trey Turner slightly hesitated around third base, but certainly made up with it. He's got that extra gear. Nice job by Anderson getting the ball into the hands of D. Gordon.
So Gio Gonzalez has a run to work with now, and Peters sets his sights on Howie Kendrick.
Well, Peters can't worry about being perfect tonight. The idea is, yeah, you'd love to go out and pitch a shutout, and every pitcher will tell you that every time he takes the mound.
That ground ball is going to find the line and into the corner. Ozuna racing for it. Zimmerman headed to third. Ozuna's got it. Here comes Zimmerman, and he's going to score. And the Nationals have a 2-0 lead. Zimmerman didn't sound great coming across the plate. I think if you heard it at home, it sounded like a runner in distress. That was exit stage left. So an RBI double for Howie Kendrick in a 2-0 lead. And that's going to bring up Jason Worth. I feel with the lack of people in the building and with the great sound that we have on the field, I should preemptively apologize.
That's where you were going with that earlier this inning.
Maybe we can record it like the disclaimer.
Well, I realized I thought that's where you were going, and then I thought, well, maybe he's playing into the the white noise, the ambient noise that's around it.
Let's listen to Zimmerman.
Well, he's back. He looks like he's good.
Yeah.
Maybe he just wasn't ready for that haul. Maybe he had to run to the restroom or something. I don't know. And that's up 2-0.
Well, he made it home. Jason Worth trying to get a hit on this road trip before it ends. And that's been a an issue for him, which is strange because when the Marlins saw him in D.C. when he came off the disabled list, he looked like Jason Worth of 5-6 years ago.
Well, right. And you know, usually you'd think when you miss significant time, 70+ games, that it would take a little while to warm up, regardless of how much of a rehab assignment you make. Came up, hit a long home run, had another base hit in the ball game, but has since gone over.
Three balls, 2 strikes, and 2 outs. 2-0 Washington on top. We'll keep you up to speed on what's going on in baseball tonight. A lot of day games today. This is a traditional travel day. If you're still hanging in there and taking a peek at the National League wild card participants, Milwaukee lost again to Cincinnati 7-1. Milwaukee 4 over now at 72 and 68. And Worth swings and misses, but the Nationals strike for 2. And now the Marlins have to go to work against Nat Geo. On top of the fish, Miami's lineup trying to solve Gio Gonzalez. Southwest brings it to you. D. Gordon, Giancarlo Stanton, Christian Yelich, Marcell Ozuna in the cleanup spot last night, 3 for 4. JT Realmuto slotted 5th. Tyler Moore gets a start against the lefty. Brian Anderson occupies the 7th spot. Miguel Rojas at short hitting 8th, and Dylan Peters hits 9th.
We'll give you the Auto Nation scouting report of Gio Gonzalez, the 6-footer, 205 pounds. He's 31 years old. Payback time. That's right for the Marlins. Gonzalez is making his 5th start versus the Fish. He's 3-0, 129 here in 2017. The Brew House, that was Gonzalez's last start. He was knocked around by the Brewers just a bit. 6 innings, 8 hits, 5 earned runs. 2nd worst start of the season. So he is coming off of that. Well, 2nd to none. Talking about Gio's secondary pitches, they are really good. His curveball 162 batting average against. Very good changeup as well. I mentioned a little earlier, batting average on balls in play for Gio this year, 253. That is 7th in Major League Baseball.
Got D. Gordon. And Gordon sends one to right center field, hits it well. Chasing it is Taylor. That's deep. Taylor reaches up and makes the catch near the wall in deepest, darkest right center field.
Wow. He made up some ground. Boy, did he ever. He was playing shallow left center field. Look at the positioning. Watch the race. Look where he is. He's not even in your picture any longer. This ball's going to come down somewhere near DeWalt. He's going to be underneath it.
Thought you were going to say it came down somewhere near DeWalt.
Well, that would have worked too. It felt like it, right?
Well, Gordon sure got into that one. Here is Stanton now. And of course, the Marlins' woes, they've lost 8 of their last 9. In a 9-game stretch, Giancarlo has 3 hits in 32 at-bats, but they've all been home runs, all 3 of them. Gio's changeup misses down low.
You try not to overanalyze too much of what you know. numbers don't tell you a lot of good things with the offense right now. They're struggling. 22 runs over the last 9 games. You look at his numbers, Giancarlo's numbers against Gio Gonzalez, 6 for 29 in his career.
We've determined a pattern there. All those pitches right in the same spot. That one was down there as well. Lobaton fires to first and Stanton is out. So a really long out and a very short out. Starts the night for Gio Gonzalez, and here's the defense behind him.
Well, this Nationals defense features 4 regulars and 4 guys who would be deemed utility guys. Howie Kendrick getting the start in left field. Taylor in center field. Jason Worth over in right. Rendon in third. Turner, Defoe, Zimmerman, Lobaton, Gio Gonzalez on the mound. They just shuffle him in, shuffle him out. Give a guy like Daniel Murphy a day off after the first 2 games of this series, and still feel pretty good about the guys you've got in the middle of your lineup to score runs.
Yeah, the organizational depth that the Nationals have, and we've seen it firsthand, pretty impressive this year. Breaking ball to Yelich is a strike against the Marlins. 15 starts for that man. And there's no way around it. He's just been really good. An ERA of under 2 in his career against the Fish. And of all the Marlins who are in uniform, there is 1 home run amongst them. And that was Marcell Ozuna. Everybody else, Stanton, Yelich, they've come up empty in terms of long balls. Marlins came up empty almost in terms of hits. D. Gordon broke up the no-hitter last time Gio was here, and he walks Yelich, and it brings up Marcell Ozuna.
It's a bat by Christian Yelich.
All right, inside look brought to you by Toyota RAV4. Hialeah native. In this ballpark, it gets even better for him. 3-0 with a 1.17 ERA. And of course, the added emotion to that start here at the end of July, the fact that that would have been Jose Fernandez's birthday. Fernandez's daughter and his fiance and his mom and Abuela were all here. Gonzalez and Bryce Harper went over before the ball game to see them for the first time. Gio and Jose were so close. There's Penelope. Very nice. Ozuna with an 0-1 count. And Gonzalez fastball misses away.
Marcell is one of the few that has been immune to the struggles of the offense. And Christian Yelich, both pretty solid numbers here on the homestand. 308, 3 runs scored, 4 RBIs, does have a home run. He's hit well here at Marlins Park. 20 home runs here this season.
End of the bat for Ozuna, and Defoe whips it on over to first in time. Marlins come up empty in the first. It's 2-0 Nationals. First major league runs in the first, giving up 2 to the Nationals. He's got bottom third of the order: Michael Taylor, Jose Lobaton, and Gio Gonzalez. Michael Taylor knocks one into right field. Stanton trying to chase it down, has it, and Taylor will hold first base. And that's hit number 4 already for the Nats.
A few of the national hitters have really made it a priority to eliminate the curveball by staying on the fastball early in the count. This one elevated, Taylor all over it.
Lobaton, we talked about organizational depth. Right now, the Nationals have 4 different catchers, and they've started 3 different catchers in the 3 games in this series. This is Lobaton. Pedro Severino last night had a couple of hits, and Matt Wieters started in game 1.
Well, organizational depth certainly will help the Nats down the stretch. Not a question of when they will win this division, or that is the question. That's the answer, is when. It's going to happen sometime this month, but you're obviously extending opportunities to multiple people on the field right now. As I said, Daniel Murphy had a huge game 1 and 2, and he's got the night off.
Lobaton knocks that one foul and in the seats.
Normally you're saying to yourself, all right, hottest hitter, we're going to put him in the lineup right in the middle, right? Murphy, you take the night off. We're good.
Well, look, I made the claim at the start of the show that Peters was facing the best offense in the National League, and statistically they are. They're near the top or at the top of all the big numbers. They're second in average and extra base hits. They lead in slugging, in runs, in OPS. And they've got Bryce Harper, who's 3rd, Daniel Murphy, who's 4th, Ryan Zimmerman, who's 15th, and Anthony Rendon, who's 17th. And even Jose Lobaton will knock a hit into left field if you're not looking. But those guys are all in the top 15 in terms of batting average. They're also, in terms of slugging percentage, all in the top 12. And so it's a lineup that's thick with bats that do damage. They've got their speed guy back at the top of the order in Turner. And they've got more weapons than just Max Scherzer. Now that Strasburg's healthy, Dusty Baker pretty pleased with his start of last night, and those were cramps in his calf that bothered him at the end. And they've got Gio Gonzalez, who's only got the 4th best ERA in Major League Baseball, by the way. Double steal running. Real Muto's throw to 3rd and out. Anderson the tag, and he and Taylor collide, and the rookie holds on. Nationals are going to look at it. Taylor is hanging around the bag like he thinks he is safe.
I do not agree. He is out.
Not often that on a stolen base with a slide you get tagged on the backside.
Right,
but
literally. There you go. And he does.
It's a good thing that foot got disengaged from the dirt for Anderson. That could have been a nasty, if that spike holds.
Fast moving play. Nice job by Anderson to hold on to the throw. 21st caught stealing.
And no challenge.
JT Realmuto.
And no stolen base for Lobaton, who was the back end of that. Gio's up there right now. See what Gio does with 1 out. He's still trying to push the runner or just knock him in. And a swing and a miss. It's 0-2.
Get the taste of his own medicine with that big breaking ball. That's what it feels like, Gio.
Got him. Peters and Gio actually had a chance to chat very briefly as the two were walking out to warm up. They passed each other as Gio was headed to the bullpen down the left field line. Peters was on that line, still going through some of his warm-up activities. And I wonder if they did talk a little shop, a little curveball. Like, hey, kid, I saw your curveball. It's pretty good.
How you like me now? Peters has done a nice job navigating the potential early traffic in this inning. Of course, the caught stealing huge play. Strikeout right there of Gio.
Turner takes a strike and it's 0-1.
Trey Turner 0-2 single, jumped on a high fastball his first at bat. He missed 51 games, fractured right wrist. We've been talking about how deep this Nats roster is and how talented they are.
Real Muto got him picked. That's the 5th guy he's nabbed at second base this year. Nice inning. Real Muto throws one out at third, throws one out at second. In Miami, you can swing for your seats. Hit a home run at Marlins Park, win season tickets. 2018 season ticket deposit for as little as $250. You'll get free tickets to 2 games during the 2017 season. And an invite to swing for your seats from home plate on the 10th. Go to marlins.com/swing. JT Real Muto, Tyler Moore, Brian Anderson against Gio Gonzalez. Change up for a strike.
JT 1 for 4 last night. Had a very nice season. He's been struggling a little bit of late on this homestand. Only 2 for 20. Does have 16 home runs, 56 RBIs, career highs.
Now, Real Muto had a rough patch, but over the last couple ball games, he started to barrel balls up. For some hitters, they just don't end a slump by going 4 for 5 and spraying balls everywhere for hits. Sometimes it's a walk or 2, then a line drive here or there. Of course, every now and then some guy does go off, go 4 for 4. JT takes that in. I think Real Muto actually had one of those games in the last 2 or 3 weeks.
done it a few different times. Well, he got Strasburg up in D.C. We all had kind of concluded he was back after really the only person who got to Strasburg that afternoon.
That one popped behind the bag. Defoe's out there, and Wilmer makes the catch. So an out here in the second, and it brings up Tyler Moore. The Nationals, all right, so if you're thinking about postseason, the Nationals are certainly headed in that direction. And the merry-go-round were to stop right now, the Nationals would face the Cubs in that first round. Dodgers, of course, they've got the best record. They would get the winner of the wild card game. That wild card game right now would be Colorado at Arizona. Big breaking ball for a strike. There you go. There's a wild card race. Miami has fallen 7 back. St. Louis and Milwaukee are both 3 back of the Rockies. With some upbeat, bring back the upbeat, take me out to the ball game music, though. That's can't have the playoff picture without that music, can we? Thank you. Thank you. It makes it more fun, right? More upbeat, more wild cardish. It's the 0-2.
Speaking of better at bats, Tyler Moore has had a couple of nice ones his last 2 plate appearances. Picked up a sacrifice fly last night. He was robbed of a home run in game 1.
Moore fouls that back. So Todd Hollandsworth, Renaissance baseball man that you are, give me your best rotations in the National League. If you're going to pick 4 teams, and I'm throwing Arizona in there because of Robbie Ray and Greinke. Is this the best rotation? Moore trying to leg out a hit. Rendon fires it in time to get it.
Well, it's hard to argue top 3. Remember, you have to look at rotations that way when it comes to playoff baseball. You get the 7-game series, maybe you'll factor in a 4th, and that conversation maybe will change. Looking early rounds, hard to argue against the Nats right now. I mean, it's just look at that 3-headed monster. I mean, we're just talking league leaders. We're talking ERA. I mean, listen, Clayton Kershaw is Clayton Kershaw. If you want to go back and forth between the Kershaw and Scherzer conversation, it's a fun one. Both are elite pitchers. Both win big ball games. Both have electric stuff. But you look at what the Nats are this year, and let's be honest, Steven Strasburg's throwing the ball as well as he's ever thrown the ball in his life right now. And Gio's throwing the ball as well as he's thrown the ball in, I'd say, 5 years. So when you can't combine that all together with Dusty Baker and Mike Max, everything they've had going on all season long, who doesn't believe that these 3 guys are going to lead this team deep into the postseason?
It's amazing because a month ago everyone said, man, the Dodgers are a juggernaut. Well, they're not going to slow down. They're going to win 118 games. They're going to set the record.
It's based on the winning. I mean, that's just it. And I keep reminding people that it's a 162 game season, and it's a tournament that you play at the end. And what the Diamondbacks are doing right now, and just so everybody knows, be heads up for the Diamondbacks. I mean, they're playing that kind of baseball. Wild card teams are so dangerous this time of year.
Anderson swings and misses. No curveball for you. Just a fastball from Gio. presented by GMC. Marlins Park all battened up. 2-0 Nationals on top. Top three. Dylan Peters' second major league start. And the Nationals jumped him. 11th birthday, huh? Nice.
He worked Irma in there.
The Marlins and Irma. Trey Turner lined a single to right. That got things started. Nationals 2 runs in the first. Turner, Defoe, and Rendon. We hope that all of you are taking all the precautions, are prepared. Patience to everybody out there trying to get gas and get water or batteries or whatever you're doing. We hope in the next couple of days you're able to get it done. 2-1 pitch from Peters. The Marlins are headed to Atlanta, and the ball club will bring the families of the entire traveling party, whether you're a player, a staff member, a trainer, a coach, a broadcaster. If you're on the plane, your family is welcome. So it'll be a big group headed up to Atlanta and to Philadelphia. Rojas runs that pop-up down. We'll see how Peters fares second time through the lineup.
Well, first time through, a lot of contact. In fact, that is the first ball in play that was actually caught for an out. And that's first time through. Had gone 5 for 5 on balls in play. Marlins picked up 3 outs on the bases and a strikeout of Gio Gonzalez for Peters. You see that fastball, he is going to have to consistently get it down in the zone. He has been up tonight. He's had some good tailing action on it, but it's been up too much. That's where it's good. Good changeup down in the zone.
We focused so much on his fastball and that breaking ball, we didn't get a whole lot of time to talk about his changeup.
Well, he didn't throw it as much his last start. His breaking ball became so effective, and as the game went on against the Philadelphia Phillies, he just started throwing the breaking ball more and more, and really didn't use the changeup nearly as much. Not that he couldn't have. He chose not to because he was getting those swings and misses.
Peters, really nice run at the University of Texas, and then Tommy John surgery sidelined him, kept him out of the College World Series. Nick Lentz rings up Wilmer Defoe. That's great audio. Can we hear that and watch it again? Because Defoe's already arguing as the call from the umpire is starting.
I think he was arguing his check swing is what I think. He's going to start to go, and he's like, no, don't ring me up on my check swing. And oh, by the way, the pitch is a strike too.
Listen. He knew he was going to ring him up. He couldn't stop him, though. Rendon to left. That's a nice inning by Dylan Peters, who walks off the mound. Going a 1-2-3 third. No. Don't do it. Don't call me out. 2-0 Nationals.
presented by the authority of the Miami Marlins and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and the descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Miami Marlins.
2-0 ball game. Gio Gonzalez turns around to make sure everybody's ready. Miguel Rojas, Dylan Peters, then D. Gordon. And Gonzalez is not allowed to hit in 2 innings. Has a walk and a strikeout. The walk was to Christian Yelich back in the first. Giancarlo Stanton tapped out in front of the plate. Rojas takes a fastball last night. Miggy had a really nice at bat last night, a deep at bat. Double-digit pitches seen, singled, middle of the ball game.
Hopefully a sign of things to come as Rojas gets that swing going again. 263 on the homestand. You're right. It's a fantastic at bat. One of the best on the homestand for Rojas. Really was battling Strasburg as he was throwing everything at him. We'll line a base hit to right.
Two balls, 2 strikes. So certainly we were talking about hurricane preparedness, and you've got obviously the Marlins who live here. Some live here in South Florida year-round. Some are here during the baseball season. But remember, in our first night, that graphic with all of the Floridians who are on this Nationals team. To right, Worth is there, and he makes the catch. Guys like Michael Taylor and Gio Gonzalez. It's a long list. Trey Turner.
Trey Turner was talking to the guys at home plate about it. Family and friends around, everybody preparing themselves and trying to get themselves ready.
Michael Taylor,
loved ones,
who's in center field in the starting lineup today. Taylor apparently was helping his family in Fort Lauderdale board up the house, get everything ready today. The hard part for these guys is that they have to leave. Peters takes a strike. It's going to take a while, I think, for Dylan to get the hang of this hitting thing.
I would agree. Well, I remain hopeful.
It's one of the things that always just boggles my mind, in that a guy like Peters will get more practice at hitting at the major league level than the minor league level.
Right.
Because at the minor league level, pitchers only hit with 2 stipulations: from AA on, AA to AAA, and only if you're on a National League team facing another National League team.
Well, you find out the pitchers that typically are pretty good hitters are really good athletes, and they're the best athletes among most of the pitchers, and that's really what it comes down to. You can get into the technical aspects of a lot of what they do, and it's you see strike 3, fastball away on the outside corner. You know, that these guys have to deal with. It's so interesting. You go out to batting practice and there's 10 guys around you in a cage. Then you grab your bat and you actually step up there in the middle of a game when the lights are on and you're standing up there all by yourself and you're facing a guy in live act. It is a totally different animal. I completely agree. It may take Peters a few rounds of games before he gets real comfortable in the box.
So what you're saying is, of the pitchers that hit, generally, the majority are the best athletes among the pitchers. So my question would be, among position players, who's the worst athlete that was a good hitter?
The worst athlete that was a good hitter amongst the position players?
Yeah.
Usually it's your first baseman. Sorry, guys.
Look, you're going to have to put a disclaimer on that.
Well,
let's watch this. This was close.
It sure was. D. Gordon really looking to go the other way. One of his strengths. Certainly has been doing it through this hitting streak of his.
Yeah, 9 straight for D. Fly ball out back in the first. This is a second time through now for Gordon. Thought about it, did not swing.
I always find that, you're right, second time through, but it's always such an interesting conversation. When you face the guy five times during a season, I'm not sure first, second, or third really applies when it comes to Gio. I mean, D gets into the box first pitch tonight. He knows what he's getting ready to see. 2-seam fastball, maybe a little cutter, the breaking ball, and the changeup to go along with it.
Elevated fastball there.
Cat and mouse game starts from the minute the game starts with somebody like Gio. When you see him in the division, face him that many times during the course of a season, stuff rarely changes.
We showed earlier the stolen base race with Gordon and Turner and Billy Hamilton. Hamilton today fractured his left thumb. He'll be in a splint for 10 days and then he'll be reassessed. Could be 4 to 6 weeks. Zimmerman way off, flips, and he's out. Gordon and Gio both reaching for the bag. That was close.
I think he gets the tag. Yep, sure did.
Challenged by the Marlins, but the challenge not successful. D. Gordon is out. It was a bang play with Gio Gonzalez covering, and so Gordon is out, and we'll be back to Marlins Park after this. In Miami, 2-0, Nationals on top. 4th inning arrives, and so does Ryan Zimmerman.
Zimmerman, an RBI single, his first time up.
Zimmerman, Howie Kendrick, Jason Worth Dylan Peters, once he got out of that first inning, has been very good. He got a lot of help in the second from JT Realmuto, who threw out a base stealer at third and then picked a runner off at second. Zimmerman drives it right center field deep. Stanton doesn't even look. That thing is up in the upper tank, opposite field. That is a strong man who just hit that baseball up in a place that few right-handers will ever go.
Well, Zimmerman has some of the best right-handed power to the opposite field in the game of baseball today, and that's a pretty good example of it right there. Strong, powerful swing. Loves to get his arms extended, particularly on elevated pitches. We've seen this a few times. Think back to a couple of games at DC. Look at this. Straight through. Top hand strong, coming over the top and just finishing that off. Ooh.
That was the reaction of the Nationals bench with the ball off the bat.
Yeah, rightly so. Right-handers don't go up there very often. They heard it.
So let me ask you this, Renaissance baseball man.
What do you got?
Ryan Zimmerman, comeback player of the year?
Yeah, hands down.
Okay. 115 games last year, hit 218.
427 feet on the home run. 108 miles an hour off the bat. That's impressive stuff going the other way. 11th home run here at Marlins Park. Most by a visiting player.
Yeah, and his home run total against the Marlins is continuing to mount. 34 career.
5 this season.
So he's tied. The note is he's tied for third most all time. I'm guessing Chipper Jones is on top of that list.
I'm with you.
Maybe Ryan.
Not having been here, I'm with you.
Ryan Howard and Chipper Jones would be my guesses to that. I don't have them at the tip of my cursor on my device. So that's why we have John Chimchuk here. Here's Howie Kendrick striking out.
A breaking ball, another good one. Peters' 5th strikeout tonight.
I'll go Chipper and Howard.
I agree with the Chipper. I don't know about the Howard.
David Wright, though. Oh, every now and then, blind squirrel finds a nut. Yes.
Nailed it.
Ryan Howard 41, Chipper Jones 40, and now Zimmerman is at 34. So Jason Worth at bat. He struck out in the first. As we detailed, he's riding an 0 for 19 on this road trip.
Peters' breaking ball has been outstanding tonight. It really seems to be gaining steam, much like it did against the Philadelphia Phillies. One problem he's going to have to correct is getting the fastball down. So a few errant changeups as well at the top of the zone. That breaking ball has not been misplaced tonight, though. Very good. Starts it out at the belt, gets it down to the shoe tops, getting those swing and misses.
Well, Peters sure didn't take long to get here, and that included the injury this year where he missed 2.5 months, the fractured thumb on the comebacker. If you get a chance to ever see that thumb of his, it's got a nasty scar. He said he's got a plate and 5 screws in it, and that's his throwing hand, and that had to be a long period between surgery and when he started to throw again, because you just never know. But he said it really hasn't affected his throwing motion. Liner to left, Ozuna is there, and he makes the catch. So 2 outs in the 4th. The Corona Light Marlins Watch Party Series comes to a close on September 14th at Brews Room Sports Grill, Bird Road. Marlins and Phillies, 7 o'clock. Music, DJ Vertigo, Billy the Marlin, giveaways, prizes, food and drink specials. Go to marlins.com/appearances. Toronto and Boston are tied 1-1.
Oh no!
Early in that ball game, they're, I think, the Red Sox coaching staff had to give up their Apple Watches before the game.
He played 19 innings in Boston last night, or I should say earlier today. I don't think anybody's interested in a tie.
Be interesting to see where that investigation goes and what the punishment will be for the sign stealing, the high-tech sign stealing by the Red Sox. And apparently it was not just against the Yankees but against other teams. Peters with a good sharp breaking ball there. Ryan Zimmerman goes deep. It's 3-0 now. Unlimited baseball break. Hanley Ramirez ended it in the 19th 6-hour marathon. Justin Verlander in his Astros debut beat Seattle 3-1. Jose Martinez, 2 homers, 3 RBIs. It's a good week to be named Martinez, right? JD and Jose.
Yeah.
I think Pedro had a good week on MLB Network too. Stanton's up. And a strike to Giancarlo. Little tapper in front of the plate. Bobby trying to get on the board. Runs against Gio Gonzalez have just been so scarce.
Runs? How about hits?
Well,
Fish, 1 hit in their last 11 innings versus Gio. Somebody needs to snap out of this, break it up here. The right guy's in the box right now. See if Giancarlo can't get this thing going.
Since 2013, a 1.29 ERA against the Marlins. Changeup misses outside. Look at these last 3. Now the Marlins did get 3 runs against him, but he won the ball game on June 20th. Near no hitter. And he walked Stanton.
Nice at bat. Good adjustment from Stanton. Remember, he chased a couple of changeups down in the zone. Remember, last at bat, one he tapped out on and did swing and won this at bat. Able to lay off it on the 3-2 pitch.
Now Yelich, who walked back in the first. I'm trying to get some more traffic on the bases. Yelich takes a strike. Just following up the Billy Hamilton story, he apparently fractured the thumb bunting. Trying to bunt for a hit. Ball hit the bat and his thumb.
Just Nicolino.
Yeah. Stanton back in time on the snap throw.
Christian Yelich would love to get something to drive right here. Knowing Gio, it's going to be something down at the knees or below. Hanging breaking ball.
He doesn't usually hang many of them.
Right. And it's just sitting here thinking in a 2-1 count. He was definitely looking for a strike. Didn't want to roll the dice that Yelich was necessarily going to go after it.
Two. Fastball. Yelich knocks it into right field for a hit. Worth has it. Stanton stops at second. And the Marlins have a runner in scoring position.
Well, some real nice adjustments tonight from the boys. Together good at bats. Gio went after Yelich a couple of times his first at bat. 2-seamers in. Christian Yelich looking for it. How about that? Pull the hands through. Get long after the point of contact. Cut it off and drive it into right. Now, very, very nice. Gio actually hit his mark, hit his spot. That's on Yelich right there, putting together a good at bat. First 2 runners on here in the 4th. Nobody out. Marzell can keep the line moving.
Ozuna bounced to second back in the 1st. Miami has lost 8 of 9 runs. They have been really tough. Not just against Gio Gonzalez, but against everybody. In fact, in that 8 of 9 stretch, the Marlins have scored 22 total runs, and 10 of those came in the game they won. So just 12 runs in the 8 losses.
Marlins are starving for some creative offense.
Here's the thing about Gio Gonzalez. He's 3-0 now. This is where he is at his best. Runners in scoring position. Here's a look at Real Muto. Opponents are hitting 142. That's the best in Major League Baseball.
Well, that fits right in with his batting average on balls in play, doesn't it? With the ability to punch out a hitter.
It's a strike on Ozuna. And it's 3-1.
The one thing that you've seen from Scherzer this year, Gio tonight, we've seen it from Gio all season long, and Strasburg obviously the last 2 starts, the ability to throw just about, well, their arsenal anytime they want. You hear me say any pitch, anytime. I mean, that's what that means.
Well, this is a great opportunity for Miami here. A rare opportunity against Gio Gonzalez. 2 walks and a hit here in the inning. And the bags are loaded. And there's nobody out, and here comes Real Muto.
Mike Maddox out to talk to Gio. I guess this is the definition of a struggle. We haven't seen him do it too many times this year. One thing that certainly stood out in his last start, part of the keys to tonight's ball game, our Nation scouting report, the Brew House. The Brew Crew got to him a little bit. They put some hits on him. They put some walks on him as well. They put long, deliberate at bats, and Gio had to work hard to get through some of that and ended up giving up 5 earned runs. There you go. There's those numbers you were referring to. 161 opponent's batting average. Runners on base. That's not even talking runners in scoring position. That's just anybody on.
And if there's anybody in this lineup that could really need a big hit just to get rolling, it's Real Muto. JT with runners in scoring position is 1 for his last 28.
Well, he's not alone.
He's got company.
Marlins are only 7 for their last 69. Put that into baseball speak. That's a 101 batting average. That's just slightly over 100 over their last 9 games.
But we talked about Real Muto last couple of nights. You can see all of a sudden he's barreling balls up, starting to drive them places, which is a great sign. The curveball didn't make it. And it's 2-0 now. And Gio struggling with his control. He's walked 3 in the ball game.
Well, Gio tests the patience of the hitters. He very rarely, I think he's really done a nice job learning this in his career, certainly as he's gotten a little bit older, is that he's not going to just give in and start grooving pitches to get himself going again. He still lives on the corners. He preys on the discipline of the hitters. Nothing wrong with that take right there. You don't worry about that strike on a 2-0 pitch. That's a changeup at the bottom of the zone, and it barely made it in.
Very bottom of the zone. So the count 2-1. Bags loaded. Opportunity for Miami. And Real Muto fouls it back to the screen. Gio Gonzalez nearly no-hit the Marlins. He's a Hialeah native. And he's just been lights out against his hometown team. He's got a 3-0 lead. But he walks Stanton, a single by Yelich, a walk to Ozuna, and he's 2-2. Miami's young catcher. Pitch is in.
That's a lot of trust for Lobaton. Gonzalez still willing to throw the breaking ball in the dirt. Needed the strikeout, wanted the strikeout, didn't get it.
Full count. JT fights that one off.
Two-strike approach here against Gio. It's a tough proposition sometimes. We showed you the numbers why he's so good with runners in scoring position. It's the arsenal. Process doesn't change. You say, well, how in the world is he getting 90 miles an hour past these big league hitters consistently? Well, they're on red alert for the big curveball or the changeup.
Changeup line to Turner at short, and Real Muto did barrel it up. He hits a seed to Turner. Everybody was able to get back to their base, and a frustrating run for Real Muto. But again, last 3 nights now, he's hit balls like this.
Yeah, he doesn't want to hear me say it, but it's still a heck of an at-bat. Put it together. Long, lengthy, saw the whole arsenal. And a great swing right there. That could very easily have been the Marlins' first run, unfortunately, which has been the theme this homestand, right at him.
He was on the changeup. And here's Tyler Moore. Moore bounced to third. Nationals infield is back for 2. Stanton at third, Yelich at second, Ozuna at first. Ozuna not being held, and so any ground ball that's a potential double play, he'll have a head start towards getting to second quickly. Moore finds himself behind the count 0-2. Well, he's the best in Major League Baseball at pitching with runners in scoring position. Bases loaded, nobody out, has turned into 1 out. Lobaton saves him again, blocking a breaking ball in the dirt. It's a very un-Gio-like inning.
Things are kind of working their way back around, it seems like, here after Mike Maddox visited him on the mound. Strikes are starting to come again.
Change up. He strikes out more with that.
Well, a big out for Gio Gonzalez. Remember that fastball underneath the hands of Tyler Moore? Well, it set up the changeup away. That's where he was trying to go. Bounce a breaking ball, but this is the pitch he wanted. See Tyler right there, still thinking about that fastball under his hands, unable to cover away. Well, this inning will continue if Brian Anderson can come through.
Anderson chasing a fastball. He struck out on a pitch just like that in his first at bat. Well, certainly good fortune for Gio with the line drive from Real Muto. But he carved up more, and now he's working on Anderson.
Marlins have worked hard. They are driving his pitch count up. They'd love to get on the scoreboard with a tally or two. This will be the 30th pitch here in the 4th.
And 1-2 now. Two down. Bases loaded, nobody out. Is turned into bases loaded and 2 out.
The discipline that started this inning in Milwaukee has not translated all the way through the lineup. That's been the biggest difference. Listen, this is not just on the Marlins. Gio's done this all season long, but trying to prey on the Marlins hitters to expand their strike zone with runners in scoring position. You've seen it now 4 times with the last 3 hitters.
Fastball misses. And fortunate for Anderson that had the plate right at the top of the letters. Full count now. Everybody moving. Stan from third, Yelich from second, Ozuna first. That is strike 3 called. Brian Anderson called out on strikes. That's why he's the best with runners in scoring position.
Clemente Day around Major League Baseball, and D. Gordon honored to be the winner of the Roberto Clemente Award for the Marlins and the nominee for the National Award. Or each team who has a player to represent them in the National Award for the Roberto Clemente Award, which honors the player not only on the field but off the field for positive community involvement and great character. He accepted the award from Mike Hill before the game. Contributions on and off the field, philanthropy, and certainly Dee Gordon with his Flash of Hope program is a perfect selection for the Marlins. It's a personal thing for Dee. He runs this partnership with the Florida State Attorney's Office, providing resources to youngsters who've lost a parent due to a death from domestic violence. As you may recall, Dee lost his own mother, who was shot and killed by her boyfriend when he was just 6 years old. And Dee told me he doesn't want to just be known as a good baseball player. He has a higher calling, and he wants to be a person that helps others. And it's very personal for him. It's close. He spends a lot of time with kids, guys, and gets a lot out of it, but can relate to these kids as well. So congratulations and good luck as he goes to the National Award as well.
And Craig, that the charity that he's got that is helping provide fresh water in the Dominican Republic has been a real success.
That's right. He actually paid for and had all the water in that certain area there cleaned up. I think it was over $15,000, $20,000 for those kids. He went there in the off season. He doesn't just want to put his name on something. He's very involved in all the things he does. So good for him. Dee Gordon, wow.
Well, we wish him luck with the Roberto Clemente Award. He's the Marlins nominee. There's some great names that have won that award all the way back in 1971. It used to be the Commissioner's Award. Willie Mays won the first one. Brooks Robinson, Al Kaline, Willie Stargell, Brock, Carew, Garvey. That one just out of the reach of Peters. And Gordon over to first. Now, Roberto Clemente, to, as Craig put it on Marlins Live, to this generation is known as a great humanitarian. But if you go back and just look at his page on baseballreference.com, it'll just jump right off your screen. What he was able to do on the field and what he was able to do off the field. He was a pioneer for Latin American players in an era where there was still a lot of discrimination for people of color and for Latin American players. He stood up for those players and their rights, and I think that's why he is so revered by even modern day Latin players. And if you ever have a chance and you're in Pittsburgh, please go to the Roberto Clemente Museum, which is a really cool spot. It's an old firehouse that's got great Clemente stuff, old Pirates memorabilia from that golden era of the 60s and the 70s. Roller left side. Anderson has it, flips to first in time to get Gio Gonzalez.
Well, I think Dee is a tremendous representative of that. Certainly gives of himself throughout the community, even when he's at work. He is a bright smile waiting to happen. Enjoy being around him all season.
We will be in Atlanta tomorrow. Jessica Blaylock will host Marlins Live from Atlanta. 7 o'clock start for Marlins Live, 7:35 start. The Braves, because of traffic around their new ballpark and parking, are starting their night games this year at 7:35. During the week, I believe Saturdays are 7 o'clock.
Yeah, it's a mess. I'll attest to that.
Well, you were a Atlanta Brave yourself.
A little bit. Issues weren't nearly as bad as they are now with the traffic, but it's a mess. Beautiful ballpark. In fact, beautiful area.
One thing
I
think one thing you find, having worked for organizations that have opened new ballparks in Seattle and in Miami, is after the first year, a lot of the issues get ironed out. Because opening the park is job one, and then looking around and finding issues and problems that you didn't anticipate, that becomes job two.
Now put your stamp on it.
Trey Turner takes out. Counts 3-2. 2 outs here in the fifth. Dylan Peters gave up 2 in the first. Ryan Zimmerman RBI single, Howie Kendrick RBI double, and then Zimmerman a titanic opposite field homer. Upper deck, right center field.
A walk here to Turner. Second time on base in tonight's ball game. We've been talking throughout the series certainly tonight as well. How deep this Nationals team is. Looking forward to the playoffs. Trey Turner, remember we talked about it. 51 games missed, fractured right wrist. Now, this guy filled in for him at shortstop, Wilmer Difo. The Nats went 32-19 during that stretch. And as dynamic and talented as Turner is, and we've talked about the speed and the threat to go, which he is right now over there at first base, players like Difo have stepped in, and this team hasn't missed a beat. They played 13 games over 500 while he was gone.
And to get playing time in September and probably October, Difo may have to put a longer glove on and get in the outfield. Gordon on over to first in time to get him. Dylan Peters, 5 innings through, it's 3-0. For 7,500 fans on Sunday the 17th. Get a Christian Yelich bobblehead courtesy of DeWalt. Brewers, Marlins, 7 o'clock. Marlins.com/tickets. That one looks pretty good on the screen. Christian Yelich bobblehead. Miguel Rojas is up. Takes a strike, and we have that exact. Brought to you by DeWalt, and he's up against DeWalt.
Nicely done.
Thank you very much. He's made a couple catches just like this.
Certainly has. He's making him look easier.
He went foul back to the screen.
I think that's been most impressive about Yelich's game in the outfield is that he is getting so comfortable out there that catch is happening a lot more often.
So, Renaissance baseball man.
Yes, sir.
Bobblehead of Todd Hollandsworth. Was there
long hair running into a wall?
Was there a what would yours look like?
I just told you, long hair running into the wall. See how Christian is nice and under control, and he's going up over the wall right there. Yeah. See, this would be something more like my head down, running into the wall.
So that would mean that your head wouldn't bobble.
Yeah, it would be more like a foot bobble.
The ball would bobble.
Maybe,
probably.
right. That's kind of what I was known for. See, I wouldn't be scaling this wall all the time, although I did bring back a few home runs, I think 3 or 4 in my career. I was more or less running into that wall. I kind of was known for those catches because I would hit it a lot of times and somehow I would hold on to the ball. But I mean, I'd come out and, you know, my neck would be like cockeyed for like a week. You know, shoulder would be out of place and stuff.
Rojas takes in, and it counts 2-2. Boy, what a frustrating last inning for the Marlins against Gio Gonzalez, who has stuck it in their ear for the longest time, ever since he's been in the big leagues. And the Marlins had the bags loaded and nobody out.
Well, you know what, Rich? It just kind of goes along the theme of this homestand, which is a struggling Marlins offense. You can't dwell on it. You can't worry about it. You can't feel sorry for yourself, because I'll tell you what, the Nats don't feel sorry for you. Gio Gonzalez doesn't feel sorry for you. And you got to find a way to dig out of this hole. It's as simple as that.
Ichiro is on deck, and then you got D. Gordon. So Dylan Peters' night is done. Vance Worley in Miami's pen. And so Worley getting ready for the 6th. As Rojas was, we noted, had a great at bat that went into double digits in last night's ball game, trying to extend this one. So 8 pitches in this at bat. He's 3-2 on Gio Gonzalez, whose pitch count is about to hit 90. Some control issues for Gio. He's walked 3 and struck out 4. Rojas sends that one into shallow center. Defoe's out, Taylor's in, and Michael Taylor makes the catch. So an Ichiro at bat. Of course, for Ichiro, it's been hard for him to get a start in the outfield. The Marlins, for a lot of reasons, the Marlins outfielders have been healthy. Stanton, Ozuna, and Yelich. The Marlins as well have been behind in the standings, needing to catch up, needing to gain ground. And that combination has meant Ichiro not a lot of starts.
But a lot of pinch hitting appearances. That's right, since 1974. Rusty Staub has led this conversation with 94. This happens to be Ichiro's 94th pinch hit appearance tonight. Staub in 1983 had 94. I don't think Ichiro's done. He's going to get a few more.
Fastball up and in. Now Ichiro at 24 pinch hits. He has 4 behind the all-time record of 28, John Vanderwall of the Colorado Rockies. And a strike. Now, the other thing about this is pregame, when you look at who's done what against Gio, Ichiro's numbers jumped off the page.
Right. Why doesn't Ichiro get a start? I believe 357 and 42 career at bats. Sound right?
Yep.
Pretty outstanding numbers. Of course, the two met head-to-head an awful lot when they were in the American League West.
Yeah, Gio with Oakland, obviously Ichiro with Seattle. Ichiro center field base hit. So he's a little closer to the all-time season pinch hit record. He is 3 shy of it now. That's number 25 on the season.
Just above the knees, a fastball. Ichiro stays on it, drives it through the middle. Nice approach. Base hit on any day of the week.
It is only the 2nd hit of the ball game for Miami.
Both base hits by the lefties. Yelich, now Ichiro.
Gordon is flied out. Remember, he bounced out to end the 3rd. Pitch is in. It's 1-0. 9-game hit streak. 17 hits in that run. D bunts, third base side. Lobaton has to eat it. And Gordon's got himself a hit. And so the Marlins got something going here for a Giancarlo Stanton at bat. Pinch hit by Ichiro, and D. Gordon a bunt base hit.
Well, you see who the leader is in infield hits. D. Gordon is really nice season. Bunt base hits. Well done here. Out front, Lobaton, the only one who even has an opportunity to get him. Gio, no shot. He's off balance, has an easy base hit to the speedster. Streak is now at 10 games.
All right, let's talk Gio and let's talk Stanton here. What did you see in the first at bat, and what adjustments were made in the second at bat?
Well, and we'll see, because it's time for Gio to readjust, and again, that's what you've got to base it off of. Okay, what did Gio set up in his first at bat? He got to that changeup down in the zone. Stanton tapped out the ball just off the end of the bat, so Gio was really trying to prey on maybe that aggressiveness. A couple of really good changeups. Now, second at bat, bounced a few breaking balls, no fastballs near the strike zone, went back to that changeup. Stanton went after it one time, fouled it off, went after it a second time. He ended up drawing a walk. So Gio may want to change his game plan against Stanton now that he's had a good look at that changeup.
Fastball misses out. This is the first at bat.
All right, see the changeup right there. Okay, Giancarlo clearly frustrated. Little nubber out in front of home plate. His next at bat, he laid off it.
It's got a 2-0 count here. And good speed out there with Ichiro at second, Gordon the trail runner at first. And the 2-0 to Stanton. Slow ground ball to short. Turner out there, and the relay by Defoe out there. Gio Gonzalez with that changeup again. And Giancarlo Stanton bounces into an inning-ending double play. Florida is brought to you by the all-new Jeep Compass. By Hankook Tires, chase down your passion, never halfway. And by your South Florida Chevy dealers. In Miami tonight, Marlins and Nationals finishing off this series. Both are headed out of here after the game. Marlins on a road trip, Nationals back home. Fish head to Atlanta. Vance Worley takes over. Dylan Peters night, 5 innings worth. I'm sure he'd like to have that first inning back where the Nationals got a couple runs. Peters 6 hits, 3 runs, 2 walks, 6 strikeouts. The Braves will be fresh as daisies tomorrow night.
Had a long day today, haven't they?
Playing a doubleheader against the Texas Rangers. Rained out yesterday. Playing 2 today.
Vance Worley's not going to blow you away. He's going to throw you an arsenal of fastballs, curveballs.
Rendon.
Just a knuckle curve right there.
Oh. Everybody okay? I think so.
I see smiles. Yep, there you go. Yeah. Appreciate the enthusiasm, but watch out for the kids.
Yeah. Oh, he took, I believe, his son down, but got the ball.
All is well. Good to
that's
see.
right. I mean, you know, and
good effort.
if Dad doesn't come up with a ball, I don't know that everybody's smiling.
That's probably right.
Big moment. Very nice. Good hustle by Dad to knock it down and make
this
a play.
effort. Boy, he left both feet trying to catch that ball.
Knocked it down. Well,
you gotta remember when you don't have the outfield wall behind you, though. You gotta jump straight up.
That's
you can't
true.
jump straight back.
Very cool.
Bravo.
Now he's making sure his phone survived, so we can take a photo. Ryan Zimmerman and then Howie Kendrick after Rendon.
Vance Worley, 4-seam fastball, 2-seam fastball. Throw you a cutter as well. That knuckle curve that you just saw went for the high foul ball.
Rendon hits it foul. Seven starts and now back in the bullpen as a starter. 2-2, a 5.71 ERA. That's a foul ball. Anderson missed it. The Nationals bench is upset. They thought this was a base hit. They're looking right down the line. Brian O'Nora is there.
Dusty Baker in the background.
I believe that's Chris Spire down there as well.
Yeah, they're fighting for their players. You understand that. Rendon has pulled everything he has seen this at bat. A long foul home run and pop up, and now a ground ball down the line.
See, now this is what I think umpires are cool with replay and stuff. I don't know that they're cool on this. That's not a reviewable play, but Chris Spire wants to know, hey, what did you guys see? Was it fair? Was it foul?
Well, you need to know if you can still keep going at him. It doesn't make it right. I'm just saying. I mean, it's. I mean, think about what you're doing, right? You want to know.
You just saw him with his hand, just saying, motioning that it was fair.
Right.
Could you tell on that replay? What'd you think?
I could not tell.
That's fair. And a base hit.
I saw the first chop, but after that, it's really hard to have depth perception on camera angles. Really, the third base umpire has the best view. Rendon gets his hit anyway.
Fox Sports Sports is proud to team up with Snowball Express and their commitment to providing new happy memories to the children of our fallen heroes from 9/11. Snowball Express provides an annual life-changing event and makes each child feel special. We remember. Visit foxsportsupports.com for more.
Ryan Zimmerman, one of the longest home runs we've seen in quite some time. Giancarlo is being one-upped in any way, but right-handers going up into the upper deck. It's been a while.
Florida Lottery in-game jackpot. On the road, there's Giancarlo, Goldschmidt, Zuna, Murphy, and Zimmerman. Now the home run for Zimmerman is 427 feet. Left his bat at 108 miles an hour. And I, for one, think he got shortchanged by the distance, because it went up over the, obviously it's in the second deck, but if you go to the Mikosuke sign where it says 392, that ball's higher up than that. It's in the second deck.
Right.
And it had some zip on it.
Well, I've thought that all season long, but I feel like sometimes it's my misunderstanding of even how that number works, the number that we get to, right? It's where it actually hits and as far as it's gone. It's not where it would go. So if you catch it in the upper deck, you're actually going to lose some footage, aren't you?
No, the projection is where it would have gone had it not hit the second deck. That's going to go into Stanton's glove.
Well,
for a base hit.
Then I'm with you. So I find that very hard to believe.
All right, so let's look at it. Amateur Statcasters that we are. This is Zimmerman's homer. Now they say 427.
The reaction by the Nats, pretty impressive. See, drive sober or get pulled over.
That's right. That apparently got pulled over.
Yes.
So it lands above Officer Sober there, and then goes straight down. But that's 392, and it's further left. So I'm sorry, that's not 427.
I bet it's not if you were to take a straight line from the 392 to where that ball hit. Another, you know, what is it, 35 or so feet?
Ooh, trying to bunt. Kendrick. He says he got hit in the arm. Time is out. Did he bunt at the ball? It's a strike. Doesn't matter if it's the bat or if it hit him. If he bunted at the ball, it's still a strike. Runners have to go back. It's a dead ball once it hits him. Here's a look. He says, you could hear him say, and I apologize for the way he said it, it hit him in the arm. But if they determine that he bunted at the ball, and it looks like
it's a strike first, it would be a hit batter second, correct?
Yeah, but it looks like in his defense, he pulled back.
Yeah, I don't believe he didn't bunt the ball. The only thing he bunted it off was his right forearm.
Right, but the call was at first is that he bunted at the ball, which is a strike. Now all the umpires get together. The appeal went down to first to Paul Emmel. And the ask was, did he bunt at the ball? And initially they said, yes, he bunted at the ball, which means it doesn't matter if it hits him in the arm or the leg. If you swing at a pitch and it hits you in the knee, it's a strike.
Strike.
If you bunted a pitch and it hits you in the arm.
Absolutely.
But in watching that replay, and it's not a reviewable play, it looked like he pulled back at the last minute.
Certainly can appreciate this. The umpires getting together to discuss it, to get the call right, which you're hoping for.
This is one of those calls where the robot umpire would probably short a fuse, right?
Well, it's funny you should say that, because that's been my argument all season. We've had this conversation a few times. Is that there's still those plays where, you know, technology, I think, unless it's perfect, you know, would get it right.
Here comes Don Mattingly now.
Oh my.
The initial call was that he bunted at the ball. They apparently have changed that.
I'm not sure how that's possible. What are you changing it off of?
Well, they've got the call they got right now. I mean, I'm
absolutely, but I agree, but it still, to my eye, appears that he bunted at the ball. I know he was trying to get out of the way after he realizes it's on its way to him, but as it's crossing the plate, I certainly saw the effort to bunt at the ball. But I don't know what they saw that would override that. Remember, this is a not reviewable play.
Not a reviewable play. My contention is it looked like he pulled back before it hit him in the arm. But
yeah,
Marlins thought they had the call. Apparently they don't, and so as a result, Worley has to face the bases loaded now, and he's got Jason Worth up there, and the infield is drawn in. And a strike to Worth. So Worley needs one of those cutters to get him a double play ball. Fastball in.
This is really a big spot in this ball game. Worley would love to weave his way out of this mess. Marlins down 3-0 already, struggling with Gio Gonzalez on the mound. Nats bullpen will show itself at some point. When your team is struggling to score runs, you've got to absolutely be at your best in situations like these. Even give yourself a chance to win a ball game.
Worth pulls one wide of third. And of course, Worth 0 for 2 here, 0 for 20 on the road trip. But the ball he hit in the 4th inning was a rocket to left.
One of the few that square up a Peters curveball tonight.
Popped him up, foul, and out of play. By the way, the Atlanta-Texas first game went to Texas by the meager score of 12-8. Elvis Andrus went 4 for 5, hit a homer. Mike Napoli partied with a 2-run homer. And Rangers knocked out Luis Gohara, the Braves pitching prospect. Knocked him out after 4 innings in his major league debut. Matt Kemp, Ender Inciarte homering as well. Speaking of Ender, hits are his game. He's having a fine year. In that second game, Atlanta's up 5-2. Jason Worth, left center field and deep. Yelich on the track, makes the catch. Everybody tags. Rendon scores. Zimmerman to third, and Kendrick arrives at second base. And Rendon into the dugout. Jason Worth with a long sacrifice fly.
It's one pitch that Worth has been on tonight. The breaking ball. See it right there. Jason Worth just misses it. Long sacrifice fly to Christian Yelich in center field.
One out. Taylor has walked intentionally, and it's Lobaton who gets the at-bat. One of the things that the intentional pass by lifting 4 fingers has done is it's taken away that moment where the on-deck hitter gets that look on his face of indignation for those 4 wide ones.
Right.
It's changed how directors direct the game, because that was part of the intentional walk, right? Was to show, here's the on-deck hitter. I can't believe that they're not pitching to the guy in front of me.
The element of respect or disrespect, I guess, and how you're interpreting it, right?
Yeah, now it's like, all right, next guy up. And Lobaton literally.
You're already moving. It's just about preparation. Can the guy actually get to the batter's box fast enough? I mean, we're waiting on you, right? I mean, you're like, oh yeah, I'm in the hole. Wait a minute, I'm up. It only takes about 5 seconds to get your intentional walkie down to first base, and you know, everybody's standing around. Umpires looking at you, catchers are looking at you. We've speed it up.
Seen some hitters actually not even take too many swings, because it's like they're up. They walk out of the dugout. They think they're going on deck, and next thing they know, they look up, and the guy in front of them is standing on first base, and everybody's looking at them like, all right, you're gonna just stand there? Lobaton with the count 3-0, and Worley in danger of walking in the 5th run.
Speaking of on deck, Adam Lind is out on deck. The best pinch hitters in the National League.
And Worley loses Lobaton. That's when the intentional walk stings.
So unintentional intentional walk costs you a run.
2 hits, a hit batter, a sac fly, an intentional walk, and then a garden variety walk. And as you pointed out, one of the most dangerous pinch hitters in the National League. Joe Blanton up, getting ready. This means Gio Gonzalez's night is done, with Lind climbing in.
Adam Lind 2 for 3 last night, had a double and a walk, 14 for 40 as a pinch hitter this season. That's a .350 batting average, double, 3 homers, 10 RBIs. Oof.
And a healthy rip. It's 0-1.
Well, he was looking for 9-0.
Oh, and 2. Lynn pulls that one foul, and he's yet another weapon that the Nationals have headed towards the postseason. And I know because they both had records and starts that were better than anybody else, people have connected the Dodgers and the Nationals and said, how are the Nationals going to beat the Dodgers? But it's the Cubs that the Nationals have to worry about first. Bouncer out toward short. Rojas has it. Flip there. Gordon's turn. Not in time. Another run comes across. Kendrick scores.
RBI ground out for Lynn. 2 strikes. I'm sure he'll be satisfied with this. Able to beat it out on the first base line. Rojas had to slide into the hole. Cost him a couple steps. That double play depth right there. Letting him to pull on the ground. That's at a run. Now I'm 6-0 here in the 6th.
Trey Turner on a 1-for-3 night. The Cubs, by the way, are in Pittsburgh and scoreless in the bottom of the 6th. Roller to short, kicks up. Rojas stays with it and gets Lind on the throw. But 3 across here, and a 6-0 lead for Washington. Geico presents This Day in Major League History. 1995, Cal Ripken Jr. set the Ironman record, passing Lou Gehrig, playing in his 2,131st consecutive game. A remarkable run. 6-0, Nationals on top. In making this change, Dusty Baker makes a change in right field. Alejandro De Aza will spell Jason Worth and Joe Blanton. Former Athletic, former Philly.
Joe's actually been throwing the ball fairly decent. He's been touched up by the home run this year. You see 10 home runs, 37 2/3 innings. He's become the master of the slider. Does not really lead with the fastball any longer. Throws variations of that slider. basically throughout his outings.
Land gets a strike. Gio Gonzalez, 5 innings. The 3 hits, obviously no runs. 3 walks and 4 strikeouts.
Changeup. Interesting note came across. Gio Gonzalez went into tonight's ball game needing 5 1/3 innings to have his vesting option with the Nationals vest. So he is 1/3 of an inning short. Obviously plenty of time here in September to get it done. Just thought it was interesting tonight. He needed 5 1/3 innings to get there. And that option's a $12 million option that will kick in for the 2018 season. So Nats fans listening, there you go. Gio walks out of here with a 2.5 ERA after tonight's ball game.
I think Mike Rizzo, who's here with the ball club, would have liked to have seen him get another out. That's
sure.
For the season he's having, that's a bargain,
right,
in this day and age.
$12 million option on somebody who is top 5 of just about every pitching category there is. And oh, by the way, left-handed.
Full count, 3-2. Yelich has his on base up to 371. That slugging percentage has been right around 450 for a while. On a couple hops to default. Ozuna.
Marcelo nice at bat his last time up. Drew a walk from Gio for one in the ball game. 3-hit night last night. Marcel coming into tonight's ball game 9th in the National League in home batting average at 327.
That last wild card spot in the American League has been, on any given day, if you ask who's that #2 wild card team in the American League, you can take a pick of 3 teams and be close. The Angels, by half a game, led Minnesota to start the day. That one skips by Trey Turner. Ozuna has a base hit.
Certainly think so. Consider exit velocity. Trey Turner goes to Olay. Don't blame him. This ball absolutely hit hard. Missile off the bat. One hopper. They are going to rule that an error. How about that? It's a bit surprising to me. Ball was scalded.
Well, that's why they have video review. Scorekeeper will look at it. And you see Ozuna just looked at it and shook his head.
Well, the reason Trey Turner played it the way that he did was the exit velocity. There's no doubt.
Anyways, the Angels had a half-game lead over Minnesota to start things today. Angels lost to Oakland 3-1 in a contentious game in Oakland. Minnesota beat the Rays 10-6. So now the correct answer would be Minnesota. Hey, Real Muto off the end of the bat dumps one into right field. That's justice. All the line drives he's been hitting, including the one with the bags loaded in the 4th. None of those have found any real estate, so a hit to right does.
Yeah, we'll call it some kind of justice, partner. I think he'll take a base hit with the bases loaded. Certainly changing the circumstance a little bit. There's the slider from Blanton. Nice piece of hitting. You're right. He has been on his game over the last few days. Really just hasn't found any turf. Nice piece of hitting by JT.
Tyler Moore has bounced out and struck out. So the Marlins have 2 on now. They had him loaded with nobody out, and Moore rips one down the left field line and deep and foul. And the count 0-1.
Tyler Moore got in the box, ready to turn. Got a hanging slider on the inside part of the plate. Almost hit it out. Sure enough. Just foul by inches. Check that feet.
You could probably still measure it in inches.
Yeah.
Be a lot of them, though.
I thought it was a little deceiving from the eyes.
Tyler Moore, that's going to be fouled by feet. Actually,
right.
actually yards would be better on that. Rockies are down 2-0 to the Giants. That's the hard thing right now for this Marlin bunch is you want to look at and see what the Rockies are doing in the Cardinals, and
you hate admitting to yourself that it's not relevant right now, and the reality is that it really isn't. You got to worry. You got to worry about yourself. You got to worry about your game right now. And for the Marlins, they've got to find a way to score runs, to pitch, to play, to win. And it doesn't really matter what anybody else is doing around them. And that's fun for you and I to look at the Brewers and talk about the score of that ball game or what the Rockies are doing to the Diamondbacks. But a week or two ago when this team was rolling, it was a really fun conversation.
Moore hits a ball in the air to right and deep. Deaza back. Ozuna will tag at second. On his way to third. Brian Anderson coming up again to contribute and help the folks down in Texas. You can visit redcross.org or text Harvey to 90999 and give a $10 donation. redcross.org or text Harvey to 90999, and that gives a $10 donation. And obviously with Irma headed in this direction, you know the hardships and the urgency in Texas. Let's hope that everyone is taking these next few days to prepare and do their very best to protect themselves and their families for the oncoming storm. Tough night for Anderson tonight. The rookie has struck out twice, swinging in the second, looking in the fourth. Fouls that pitch off. The Mets and the Phillies are playing in New York, and that game is delayed apparently by rain. 6-3, Mets on top.
Seems like it's a messy start to September weather-wise around the country, doesn't it?
Yes.
Seems like everybody's dealing with rain or storms or hurricanes.
Fastball in. Of note for the Phillies, J.P. Crawford is up. Made his major league debut yesterday. And they've got him at third base. So he's at third. Galvis is playing short. Let's have a Travis d'Arnaud homer.
I think Phillies fans are really excited to see Crawford. He's been tearing it up in the second half at AAA. A miserable start to his season, but he's been able to recover and put up some strong numbers. Earned his promotion. And an OPS over 900. 13 home runs in the second half. So we're excited to see if this young man's got game.
Yankees and Baltimore already postponed by rain. That was scheduled to be played in Baltimore. Yeah, that runners in scoring position number through these 9+ games has really been minuscule. Struck him out. Down looking. And Joe Blanton escapes trouble in the 6th. And that was a strike.
Traveling to Atlanta, they've opened up the trip to the entire traveling party, family and kids.
You know, Jeffrey ultimately made the decision that all the families are going to get to go with us, travel the whole trip with kids and the whole thing, and really provide a service for, I think, for our families, which is really very nice of the organization.
Your family's first and foremost, their safety. So for the team to kind of step up and take the initiative and get our families out of here with us is a big help, and a lot less stuff for us to worry about.
The figure today will be about 122 on the flight. Even pets allowed to come.
Really?
From what I understand. I don't know if anybody has a pet. Getting a quick trip around the clubhouse, I couldn't find anybody that has a dog, but maybe somebody does. And we'll see. So you guys can report back. Snakes, hamsters.
I will report that Jessica Blaylock's pets are headed to Atlanta, but not on the team flight.
No, they wouldn't let Lemon through security, for apparently.
Yes, that's a nasty disposition, that Lemon. Right, Craig?
Yes.
All right, Wilmer Defoe's up. Tomas Talis is at first. See, Todd's sitting here looking at me like, what are you talking about?
I'm watching Billy the Marlin right now. Hi, Billy.
Junichi Tazawa arrives here in the 7th. He's got Defoe, Rendon, and Zimmerman to face. We saw Talis at first. And Tazawa misses outside. 5 innings of Dylan Peters, 3 runs, 6 hits. Vance Worley worked the 6th, gave up a couple hits and 3 runs. And here's Tazawa in the 7th. On a night where the Nationals have put up 6 runs on 8 hits. Gio Gonzalez is in line for what would be his 14th win of the season. And his ERA goes down. It's 4th in the majors to start the night. And Gio's ERA now at 2.50. D. Gordon sliding. Defoe is a fast man. I don't know that D's going to get him, so that's a base hit. I believe.
Probably right. Now D down to the knees, knocks it down on the back end. He probably had to make a great throw. Defoe hustling down the line. Able to come up with the ground ball. Gio Gonzalez, 5 starts versus the Marlins this year, 1.09 ERA. Ooh. Zawa has some work to do. He's had been throwing the ball particularly well up until his last 2 outings. One in DC, one versus the Phillies. Last 2 innings of work, 5 earned runs, 3 walks, 4 hits.
Rendon cranks one to center. Yelich back, slows down, makes the catch. And that brings up Zimmerman. Also brings up this. Miami has had a terrific year defensively. Is there anybody out there in your mind that is a Gold Glove candidate? And I thought that when in watching Yelich go after that ball.
Well, Yelich's a good place to start. There's no doubt. He's been outstanding this year. Think back about 40 or 50 games, there was only about 1 play I think he was actually given an error on it, and it was a long running play in which the ball was moving on the ground, and I believe he knocked it down. It was a pretty tough error is what I'm getting at. Other than that, he's been outstanding. I'm not sure if this is all measured into it, but I look at it as somebody who played the outfield his entire career, did it for 8 organizations. You realize that some ballparks are easier to play than others. Knowing this ballpark, wow, to have the year that he's had, covering the ground that he has to cover half the season here at Marlins Park, no small feat.
Yelich is there to make the catch. Well, look, the advanced defensive metrics, I think, have added context to defenders, and I'm into that. What I don't like is the fact that range factor for a guy like Yelich or a Charlie Blackmon in a bigger outfield, their numbers don't appear to be as good as they should be. And we've had that discussion about infielders and how they're measured on a static grid,
right,
in terms of range and where they make the play. And when you play in a smaller outfield, Billy Hamilton's fast, right? And he is a great center fielder, but he plays in a tiny outfield. Tiny in Cincinnati.
I've applauded Christian Yelich I don't know how many times here at Marlins Park on the ability to turn and run with his back or his head, his eyes off the baseball, and you actually teach yourself there. That is based on playing in a bigger ballpark, and I see him do it so much now that it's routine for him.
Now, I'm not saying hand the Gold Glove to Yelich. I'm saying he's in the discussion.
Absolutely.
Chopper towards short. Rojas on to first in time, and Tazawa scoreless 7th inning stretch. 6-0 Nationals. tonight, Washington continues to flex their first place muscles, and it's been an impressive gun show, not only in this series, but the whole year against the Marlins. The Nationals have won 7 straight at Miami's expense, and if they hold this lead, they'll be 13-6 and end the season series thus. There's Sean Kelly. He's in for his turn. He's got Miguel Rojas, Tomas Talis, and D. Gordon. Rojas in the gap. Taylor goes to get him, makes the catch. There's an out in the 7th. September 15th, join us at Marlins Park as we honor South Dade High School principal Javier Perez. It's the first time since his tragic accident. Javi will walk to the pitcher's mound, throw out the first pitch, host a meet and greet, and be there to root him on. This is such a terrific and inspiring story. Just an awful accident, and to see him persevere through this is incredible. Go to marlins.com/Javi Strong. That's the 15th of September. Javier Perez, South Dade High School principal. Tomas Talis is up. That's a swing.
Talis 3 for 12 on the homestand. Triple on an RBI.
5 innings of Gio Gonzalez, did not give up a run. Joe Blanton worked a scoreless 6th. Kelly has an out and 2 strikes in the 7th. One foul back to the screen. So back to the defensive discussion and back to range factor for outfielders. We've talked about it for infielders. To me, the answer is StatCast. And it's coming. It's coming where you're going to get pre-pitch positioning. So you can measure where an outfielder is playing from the time the ball hits the bat. Same with an infielder. Right now, when infielders are shifted, big shifts, they are not scored in terms of their range because that upsets the static grid.
You're just placed into zones, I believe. That's what it is. Isn't that correct?
Yeah, you're graded on a static grid, which means the grid doesn't move.
But you're placed into an area, but you're not placed into the specific point in that area.
Well, you're scored on where you catch the ball in the area.
Right.
So if you catch the ball in area C,
but from where you start,
you're not.
That's what I'm getting at.
Right.
That's my point. Yeah.
And it's hard because the way that the defense is scored now in terms of range. Here's a 2-2. There's a liner, diving stop. Now that will show up on range factor and zone rating, and it should. Trey Turner going to his left makes a spectacular catch.
I'll tell you what, look at the foot speed. That's what you want to watch. Look at this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 steps and a dive up the middle. Boy, oh boy, even to the glove side. Being right-handed, that's why you have right-handed shortstops right there. He needed every inch of leather on his left hand to make this catch.
Bonefish catch of the game. Great fish, great cocktails, great times. Head to Bonefish Grill. The way it's scored now are technicians who used to play baseball. They try to get college baseball players, guys that know the game, and they score it right off video. So on that catch, you're scoring Turner where he makes the play on a grid on the diamond.
Mm-hmm.
But it's hard to determine exactly where a player started if you're watching on television. Oftentimes the cuts are different. You don't see where the guy is exactly with ball off bat. It's close.
Maybe we should start putting marks on the infield.
Yeah. D. Gordon. Talk to Perry Hill about that.
No, I'm not going to.
Kendrick makes the catch. 1, 2, 3 go the fish in the 7th. But we're getting closer. Pre-pitch positioning on StatCast. GMC Wednesday showdown in Miami, Marlins and Nationals. And the Nationals right now winning this showdown handily, 6-0. The offensive drought continuing for the Fish. Junichi Tazawa continuing for the Fish. Alejandro De Aza, who came in Jason Worth's spot, climbs in. You got Michael Taylor and then Jose Lobaton.
Diaz a 2-for-4 in Game 2 last night, and a double. So Rob Tyler more of a home run in Game 1 as a defensive replacement.
If you could keep winning games in the month of September and run out Defoe, Kendrick, Lobaton, De Aza, what a boost that is for Dusty Baker and his regulars, because guys get nights off. Daniel Murphy, the beneficiary of that tonight. Rojas and Ozuna in pursuit, and it's Ozuna who makes the catch.
One down here in the 8th.
Fox Sports Supports is proud to team up with Girls on the Run. Their dedication to empowering young girls and instilling confidence through running. Learn more about how you can get involved by visiting foxsportsupports.com. Of course, the Nationals would like to see Bryce Harper back and healthy here in the next 2-3 weeks before the bell rings in the postseason. Michael Taylor left field. Fort Lauderdale proud of that blast. That's his 14th of the season.
Now, if you want to book on Taylor after tonight's ball game, you better be careful of that first pitch fastball. He's got 2 tonight that he is absolutely disintegrated. One against Peters to right, great piece of hitting, and this one right here, my goodness gracious, fastball at the letters with the top hand. Stays through on the backside and finishes it off into the seats. And again, a player who was not considered for regular duty at the start of the season. 427 feet, 104 miles an hour off the bat. Taylor.
Lobaton now. By the way, Pittsburgh Pirate fans might be a little confused right now, because all of a sudden their rival has got one of their best relievers. The Phillies did flip Juan Nicasio. That ball's hit hard and deep. Yelich back, and he's there up against the DeWalt sign.
Up against the DeWalt? I like it.
Just like the bobblehead.
Sure enough. Now, and again, this is a great catch made to look easy by Christian Yelich. Covers a lot of ground.
All right, let's go back about a week ago when the Phillies were saying, no, we picked up Juan Nicasio to help us down the stretch.
And we all chuckled?
Yeah. Well, they flipped him to the Cardinals.
Oh, there you go.
So the Cardinals have Nicasio now for the last 3 weeks of the season.
All right. He's not going to be on a playoff roster, but he can certainly help them get there.
Absolutely.
Right.
Worth the investment, which is probably for the Cardinals at this point about $500,000.
Well, I think we were all scratching our heads after that one. Partly by the Pirates, partly by the Phillies. I mean, think about Nicasio, who's ticketed for free agency, but he's worn a new uniform. He's worn 3 uniforms in the last 2 weeks.
And he's having a really nice year.
Oh, he's having a great year. I mean, that's the part of the complications of all this is the fact that the Pirates weren't able to extend him. They were hoping to keep him on board next year. He's ticketed for free agency.
So the Phillies, I think, the Phillies and the Cardinals come out looking great in this. The Phillies at least got something.
Picked up a prospect for nothing.
They picked
a week's
up,
worth of work.
Yeah, minor league infielder Eliezer Alvarez. Let me try that one more time. Eliezer Alvarez. I don't think that worked either, but anyways, he's the 19th ranked prospect.
19th ranked prospect for probably, I'm guessing around about $100,000 in salary.
Most. Yeah.
That's about it.
They had Nicasio for about 6 days.
6 days, yeah. And in fact, picked up a win against the Marlins last week.
And at the time that he ended up with the Phillies, the word was that the Pirates did that because they didn't want him to end up with a rival team in the National League. They wanted to get him to an American League contender.
Have you been looking at the Pirates' schedule lately?
Is it?
You know who they're playing this weekend?
Probably the Cardinals.
Yes, they are.
7-0 now. Nationals on top of the Marlins. MLB.com at bat, your #1 mobile app for live Marlins baseball. Stay connected. Get a fully customizable experience. Club-based home screen icons. What is a club-based home screen icon? An app feature as well as game day video highlights, radio broadcast, StatCast news. Download MLB.com. At bat today. Eddie Romero. You have your own icon?
What?
Is that like an avatar? Here's Giancarlo.
Man, Rich, I don't talk tech.
That's right. You got 4 kids. They'll
That's
do
correct.
it. They'll do it for you. Giancarlo Stanton has walked in 3 trips. Bounced into a double play and bounced out to the catcher. And Romero misses in. 1 for 3, has homered against him. Stanton sitting on 53. It has been a team-wide struggle. Stanton swings and misses, and a 97-mile-an-hour fastball. Romero's got a live arm.
Certainly does. overpowering fastball has helped generate 20 strikeouts over his last 12 appearances.
That bat useless now. Stanton will get a new one. Our friend the Crickets here. 3-2 coming to Stanton. And a pop out to short. Turner is there. And he makes the catch. We hope that all of you are getting prepared. Here's a really nice read in the Sun Sentinel. Tim Healy wrote it about Marlins Park, touching on some of the things that Craig had in his interview with Claude Delorme yesterday about the preparation for the hurricane and how they will be prepared, how the building has been designed for, and a few things that they will adjust in preparation for Irma. Pitch is in.
Would you agree that the combination of Giancarlo Stanton, Christian Yelich, Marcell Ozuna, best outfield baseball?
Yes, I would. I think there's a lot of people in agreement with that. With the season they've had this year.
Would you use them as much as you could in an entire season? Obviously.
Depends.
Now they have been working hard, burning the midnight oil. Marcell Ozuna, most innings in baseball among left fielders. Christian Yelich is in second. Now we're talking positionally. Just 5 innings behind Charlie Blackmon. Carlos Stanton fourth most. I mean, they've been out there every day. For Marlins fans to understand some of what this Marlins group is going through, understanding how important they are. And oh, by the way, I'll even throw in a JT Realmuto, who's been behind the plate as much as anybody in baseball. Only 2 catchers have caught more innings. Top half of this lineup has been out there grinding through all of this, and on some level fatigue has been a part of it. Marcell Ozuna is 45 innings. Think about that. That's 5 full games.
Yelich gets into one to center. Taylor drifting back, and on the track he makes the catch.
Ozuna is 5 full games ahead of Duvall of the Cincinnati Reds for most innings played in left field this year. These guys are digging deep, trying hard, trying to put it all together, make a run. Few of these Marlins are gassed.
Well, I think the combination for Don Mattingly has been a couple things. His most productive hitters have been the outfield.
Sure.
There's no question about that. Justin Bour got hurt. Realmuto had, last 2-3 weeks he's slumped, and that's diminished some of his numbers. So there's one. Those are your best hitters.
Right.
Number 2, the team's been playing from behind ever since they fell in that giant hole in May. Mm-hmm. And it's really hard for a manager when you're scraping for every win to say, I'm going to give Stanton the night off. I'm going to give Yelich a night off. I'm going to give Ozuna a night off.
Well, then you can also factor in the loss of the players that are around them. Now, granted, Christian Yelich, Marcell Ozuna, Giancarlo Stanton, GT. I mean, these are elite players, and I'm including D. Gordon in this as well. And they've been out there just about all day long.
Ozuna center field. And Taylor's there, and he makes the catch. Eddie Romero with a quick appearance in the 8th. On to the 9th. 7-0 Nats. 1-0 Nationals in the 9th. Enter your Lotto, Fantasy 5, or all-new Fast Play ticket in the Florida Lottery Game Day Cash promotion. Now you can win a 2018 Lazy Days RV motorhome, over $200,000 in cash prizes, bowl tickets, season tickets, and more. Must be 18 or older to play. Play responsibly.
Justin Nicolino into the ball game. 5.70 ERA, 36 1/3 innings.
Trey Turner. And you got Wilmer Defoe, Anthony Rendon in the 9th. It's been all Nationals all day, all night, ever since the Marlins saw them up in D.C. The Nationals have won 7 straight. It's about to be 8 unless Miami can muster up 7 runs. Breaking ball, a strike. The Marlins still have to play Milwaukee, who comes in here, Arizona, and Colorado on the road. Mets are back here. That ball is hammered. Trey Turner, it's an easy double for him on a 2-hit night for the Nationals shortstop.
Team's double on the season for Trey Turner. Nicolino pitched in game 1, scoreless inning.
Park Vista High School in Lake Worth, where Turner went to school, and then of course North Carolina State. And Nicolino misses in. So, and you've heard it a few times, the Marlins and their families are all headed to Atlanta after the ball game, except one Marlin and one family, and that's Odrisamer Despaigne. While everybody is headed out of the path of Hurricane Irma, Despaign's wife is about to give birth, and she cannot travel, and so Despaigne will stay back here. He made the start, and boy, did he have a nice start last night. 7 innings, a run, 5 hits. Andre Fernandez in the Heralds with a nice article on Despaigne, who also, and you know, don't forget, we talked about the players that are from South Florida and their concerns, but what about the players who are from Latin America, who have families in Puerto Rico, the Dominican, Cuba, with the storm bearing down on that island?
Nice try by Nicolino.
Two balls, 2 strikes. Count full 3-2.
Defoe fouls it off.
Be interesting to see how the ball is carrying in Atlanta. Remember the first month of that ballpark? There were, I mean, balls were jumping out of there. It felt like over the summer that things somewhat calmed down there. that there weren't as many home runs being hit.
What was the score in game 1 today? 12-9?
12-8.
12-8?
12-8. 12-9, I would have bitten my tongue. 12-8, come on. See that all the time. Yelich is over. Tagging is Turner, and he'll take third base. Long out from Defoe. All right, how many home runs in that first game?
4.
Okay. Game 2. Atlanta and Texas. It's 5-4 Braves. That's bottom 7. No home runs for the Bravos. And the Rangers have a Vin Mazzara homer. His 18th. Joey Gallo 0 for 2. So you say his name like that, you thought I was going to say home run, right?
I did. I'm not sure who you were doing that for.
He has the amazing stat that he's driven himself in more than any of his teammates. Still, 37 homers, 72 RBIs. Infield's in. Rendon pops it up. Talise, Nicolino, Justin to the rail. Love to see that out of a pitcher.
The Marlins did it all. Even D. Gordon got to home plate. Nicolino was able to make the catch. D would have been the one to take the throw if, in fact, Turner tried to score. Everybody did everything right. That's good to see right there. A lot of times this is the part of the game and the part of the losing streak that players really start to wear down and their minds start to wander a little bit. So you see Nicolino right there. Well, we're not going to be able to show it to you quite. There you go. Here's the one. Watch D. Gordon. So you see the flow. Oh, there he goes. He takes off for home. Yeah, I mean, everybody did this just right. And you got to be, I mean, if you're managing this team and the guys are out there busting their humps, 7-0 here in the 9th. Sometimes you just get beat. We talked about this up in D.C. after that series, and it was a big series. You know, Marlins certainly would have liked to have performed better. The Nats pitched better, they played better, and they hit better. And sometimes you get beat. Now, against the Philadelphia Phillies, there were a couple ball games in that series where you felt like you gave them more opportunities than really you gave yourself to win. And that was the unfortunate part, and I think that's probably the part of this losing stretch that stings the most.
Yeah, because if you take care of business against the Phillies, at least you've got that. Despite taking your lumps from the Nationals. That's a solid single to left. Rendon knocks in his 91st of the season, his second hit tonight. And the Nationals put up another run.
Let's be honest, that's been giving lumps to everybody all season long, including the Marlins. Justin Nicolino up in the zone. Rendon ready for it. Drives it through the left side. Trey Turner, thrilled to have that speed back at the top of the lineup. I was just looking at Turner's road trip, and I mean, this is the dynamic player that they were hoping to get back after missing 51 games. 7 for 26, 4 doubles, triple, 2 RBIs. I'm sorry, 3 RBIs, 5 runs, 4 walks. I mean, just, you know, kind of, he does it all. I mean, no mention of a home run in there, by the way, which he does have power, but get the doubles, the triples, the stolen bases, the runs scored, the catalyst. Doesn't he make this whole line of Nats power hitters that much more dangerous?
Nicolino looks at second, flips to first. And Zimmerman is out. Well, look, having Zimmerman back to where he was in his all-star days is, number one, it's a surprise. Nobody counted on that. Nobody expected that, because his numbers, quite honestly, because of injuries and, you know, people thought because of age, were in decline. He hit .218 with a .272 on base and a .344 slug last year.
A lot of people thought it was going to be, you know, the David Wright story with the Mets with Zimmerman.
Rojas has it. Quite the contrary, though. Zimmerman's had a monster year, and so have the Nationals. Bottom of the ninth coming up. Settle in with Eldorado Furniture up in Atlanta. Dan Straley, Sean Newcomb. Straley with a 9-8 record. The ERA is under 4. Newcomb just over 4. Marlins trying to get off to a good start in that 4-game series. And just not seeing the Nationals for a while is probably a good idea. Matt Grace into the ball game. And so Grace gets the 9th inning. JT Realmuto in the box, lined out. That was an enormous play in this game. Marlins were down 3-0. Bags were loaded. Realmuto was up. He worked a 3-2 count against Gio Gonzalez, who hadn't given up much at all at that point, just the one hit. And he took a 3-2 changeup, turned on it, hit a seed to short. Turner made a leaping catch. And then Gonzalez, as he is really good at doing, pitched out of trouble. He's the best in baseball with runners in scoring position, and he got out of that inning unscathed. And from that point on, the Nats ran away with it. They had 3 in the 6th and single runs in the 8th and the 9th.
The Nats had claimed back what small momentum the Marlins maybe had created for themselves just by getting runners into scoring position. It's been so hard to come by. Realize the psychology of the game of baseball, the head game that goes on out there as a team, and certainly what you feel when you don't come through with the bases loaded and nobody out against a team that you've struggled with, well, at least all second half long. Really just crushes that little bit of confidence that you might be building on. That's so interesting. These smallest of margins, the psychology of the game of baseball, even inside a game, is a very interesting conversation. You can see where momentum was lost or gained at certain moments, points in time.
JT is really starting to swing it in these last 2-3 ball games. We talked about the balls that he's hit hard at people with nothing to show. He's got a couple of hits to show tonight. That's a good sign.
Most definitely is. Good swing of the bat by JT Realmuto. Seen him have a multi-hit effort tonight. Still think he can tell you, trade those both in for a big hit there with the bases loaded.
So JT's at first. Tyler Moore on an 0 for 3 night. A lot of games are starting to wrap up in the East. Cubs a 1-0 lead over the Pirates in Pittsburgh, bottom of the first. Bottom of the ninth. And the Cubs trying to get to 76 wins. They're 75 and 63 and increase their lead over Milwaukee, who lost today to Cincinnati 7-1. Cardinals and Padres are just beginning. Diamondbacks and Dodgers are in the warm-up phase. Mike Aviles chops one. Default makes the play to first. And there's an out. Brian Anderson for his 4th at bat. The Giants, this just adds frustration to the Marlins. The Giants are beating the Rockies 5-0. Colorado has been very vulnerable over the last 2.5 to 3 weeks. That's a top 4. Giants 5-0, and that's in Denver as well. And that's, I think, for Bud Black and the Rockies, one of the points of concern is they're losing some games at home. They're still much better at home than they are on the road. Arizona, of course, is streaking. Frank the Tank, 12 in a row they've won. 12. And it doesn't matter if it's the Dodgers or the Rockies, 2 good teams.
Well, I think that it does. I think for the Diamondbacks, and certainly for their fan base, it does matter that it's the Dodgers that they're beating up on. Dodgers have flat out owned the division all season long.
And the Diamondbacks are so good, they've not trailed in any of their last 10 games. That's tied the longest run in Major League history. The last team to do it was the '91 Mets.
Well, that's just flat out boring.
Well, look, not if you're a Snake fan, right?
Who wants to watch that?
Anderson knocks it into center field. Real Muto will stop at third. And Brian Anderson with a hit. And so the rookie who was 0 for 3 with 3 strikeouts has himself a hit here.
Yeah, this is really good to see. Listen, that first game where the at-bats don't go your way early in a ball game, you know, you get up there late, you battle against a reliever, and you find yourself a soft spot in the middle of the defense up there. Pick up a base hit. That's good to see. Not easy to do. Early in your career, you have so much emotion those first handful of games. Well, I probably should say years when I say that you're out there. Nice at bat after 3 strikeouts.
One to 0 to Miguel Rojas. Miami down a bunch, 8-0. The amazing thing about the win streak for the Diamondbacks is at 12. It's not the longest one in baseball. The Indians have won 13. Their win streak is still going.
Yeah, but they haven't been winning every inning of every game either. That's watchable.
Well, they've got a tight game right now. They're in Chicago.
How about Jose Ramirez this week?
And a 1-0 Cleveland lead over the White Sox. Nice pick by Zimmerman. And you're going to call it a catch? That's a double play then. And the ball game's over. They'll say Zimmerman caught it. The Marlins say he didn't catch it. Marlins do not have a challenge. Remember, they lost it. But Don Mattingly can have the umpires look at replay here. The umpire did call it immediately a catch. They're going to get together, and before they go to replay, they're going to ask, obviously, the first base umpire, Paul Amble's going to ask Quinn Walcott, Brian O'Nora, if they had a better look at this. He's at an angle where he doesn't see it. And so the out is going to be on the ground. There's 2 outs now. The run scores. Real Muto is going to score. Anderson is going to get to second. And, you know, here's the oddity of that, and that's one of the reasons that complete replay is hard, is a play like this. Because Zimmerman is going off what the umpire calls. Once Zimmerman sees the umpire say that's a catch,
right,
then, and you can see it skip there. See, Zimmerman turns right. Here's the umpire say catch. He would have thrown to second to get the out at second had he thought it was not a catch. But look, it's 8-0, so now it's 8-1. Here's Talise. So nobody's going to put up much of a stink.
Well, the Marlins are thrilled they picked up that run to avoid the shutout. That's 2 nights in a row, unfortunately.
Rojas gets an RBI. Goes. Ooh, sounded like it hit him. It did. Just clipped him. And Talise is going to go down to first base.
Fastball up and in.
Yep. You can see it change directions into the glove.
Lances off his wrist, forearm.
D. Gordon. This does get Stanton 1 hitter away from another at bat. Gordon tonight has a bunt hit and has his hit streak at 10 straight. Little roller toward second. Defoe got him. Gordon is out. Ball game is over. And the Nationals sweep the Marlins. The Marlins' woes continue. The Nationals have won 8 straight against Miami to close out their season series and win the season series 13-6. Back to Miami after this.